Hey everyone, if these stories are hitting you right in the feels, please subscribe and turn on notifications. It really helps the channel grow. Thank you for being here. Now, let's get into it. He walked in on his wife naked with another man on her birthday. His next move left. The wind off the North Sea was brutal that March evening in Copenhagen, whipping through the narrow streets of Nyborg with a bite that made the old yellow row houses shiver. I cycled home along Storkongensgade, cheeks numb, a bouquet of white tulips balanced in my basket, Freya's favorite, and a small velvet box in my coat pocket. It was her 35th birthday. I had taken the afternoon off from the architecture firm, booked a table at Geranium, planned to propose again, properly this time, 15 years after our student wedding in the city hall. The apartment on the third floor of the 18th century building was warm when I stepped inside, lit only by candles. I smiled. She had started the celebration without me. I slipped off my shoes, hung my coat, and walked toward the bedroom, calling softly, "Scat, happy birthday." The door was ajar. I pushed it open. Freya was on our bed, naked, back arched, hair spilling across the duvet like dark water. A man I didn't know, tall, broad-shouldered, maybe 40, was moving above her, hands on her hips, mouth on her throat. The candles on the dresser flickered across their skin. Time slowed. She saw me first. Her eyes widened, mouth opening in a silent gasp. The man turned, startled, and scrambled back, grabbing for the sheet. I stood frozen in the doorway, tulips dangling from my hand. Freya whispered my name, Jonas, like a plea. I didn't scream. I didn't lunge. I simply looked at them both for a long second, memorizing every detail. The stranger's wedding ring glinting on the bedside table, the half-empty bottle of our best Barolo, the way Freya's hand reached toward me and then fell back as if burned. Then I turned, walked to the kitchen, and placed the tulips gently in the sink. Behind me, I heard frantic rustling, voices, hers pleading, his muttering apologies as he dressed. I opened the fridge, took out the birthday cake I had picked up from Conditori La Glace that morning, layers of marzipan and cream, her name piped in chocolate, and set it on the counter. The stranger appeared first, coat half on, face flushed. He tried to speak. I raised a hand. He left without a word, the front door clicking shut behind him. Freya came next, wrapped in my old university hoodie, eyes swollen. "Jonas, please, let me explain." I looked at her, really looked. The woman I had loved since we were 20, who had held my hand through my mother's cancer, who had cried with me when we lost our first pregnancy, who had danced with me in the kitchen to old gasoline songs. "There's nothing to explain," I said quietly. She started crying harder. I picked up the velvet box from my coat, opened it. The ring inside, a simple platinum band with a single diamond, caught the candlelight. "I was going to ask you to marry me again tonight," I said. "Renew our vows. Start fresh." She sobbed, hands over her face. I closed the box, slipped it back into my pocket. "I'll sleep in the guest room tonight," I said. "Tomorrow we'll talk about how to separate cleanly." She reached for me. I stepped back. That night I lay awake listening to her cry through the wall. The next weeks were polite agony. We moved around each other like ghosts in the apartment overlooking Sordidum Lake, where the swan still glided despite the lingering ice. We told our daughter Alma, 13, away at boarding school in Herlufsholm, that we were having grown-up problems. We smiled for her during weekend visits. Freya begged for forgiveness, said it was a mistake, a midlife crisis, that the man, Thomas, a partner at her law firm, was nothing. She would end it, go to therapy, anything. I listened, nodded, said I needed time, but time was not for healing. It was for planning. Thomas was married. I knew that from the ring. A quick search on LinkedIn confirmed it. Thomas Kjaer, senior partner at one of Copenhagen's top corporate law firms, married to Line, 2 teenage sons, house in Hellerup, summer cottage in Tisvilde. I began quietly. First, I copied everything from our shared cloud drive: photos, tax returns, emails. Then I created a new anonymous account. Over the next month, small packages arrived. Line received photos first, tasteful but unmistakable, of Thomas leaving our apartment late at night. Then screenshots of messages, Freya's playful texts, Thomas's explicit replies. Line confronted him. He denied, then blamed Freya for seduction. Their marriage cracked. At the firm, whispers started. An anonymous email to the managing partners highlighted Thomas's conflict of interest with a colleague. HR opened an investigation. Freya noticed the strain. She came home pale, voice shaking. Thomas is being sidelined. They're freezing him out of major clients. He thinks someone reported him. I made sympathetic noises, poured her wine. I never rushed. Slow, like the Danish winter giving way to spring. When the cherry blossoms bloomed along the lakes, Thomas was asked to take indefinite leave. His name disappeared from the firm website. Line filed for divorce. Took the house, the boys, the cottage. Thomas drank, lost weight, started calling Freya at odd hours, blaming her for everything. Freya unraveled. She stopped sleeping, lost her confidence in court. Clients moved to other lawyers. One evening in May, sunlight slanting golden through our windows, she sat at the kitchen table and said, "It's you, isn't it? Everything happening to Thomas. It's you." I didn't deny it. "Why?" she whispered. "Because you needed to feel it," I said. "The slow collapse of everything you thought was safe. The humiliation, the loss." She stared at me, eyes hollow. "I didn't do it for him," I continued. "I did it for us, so you would understand what you destroyed." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "I do understand," she said. "I live with it every day." I nodded. That night, she packed a bag and moved to her sister's in Aarhus. The divorce was final by midsummer. We sold the apartment. I kept the furniture, the memories, the quiet. Alma spends half her time with me in a new place in Oosterbro, near the park. We cycle together, eat smørrebrød on the balcony, talk about everything except the fracture. Freya sees her on weekends. They are careful with each other, rebuilding something fragile. Thomas moved to Malmö, started over at a smaller firm. I hear he drinks too much. Sometimes I walk past our old building. The new owners have painted the door blue. Life moves on. I still have the ring. On quiet evenings, I take it out, turn it in the light. I never feel triumph, just a deep, steady calm, like the water in the lakes after the wind dies down. Flat, clear, still. And in that stillness, I finally found peace. Not because they suffered, but because the debt was paid, and I could breathe again.